Okay, so moving on to the treasurer's report. Okay, we got my treasurer's report. All right, so this month I did print off my commentary, kind of my little cheat sheet that I read off of that you guys had some questions on where I was getting that information. So working on down the list, it looks like this month here, and then I'm just going to highlight the sections for you guys on the screen so you know which area I'm talking about. So we received $1,054 here in user fees. And then for sewer fees, we billed for $319 and then, or for late fees, but then $25,707 in just the regular monthly fees. But to date, we've actually received, or not to date, this month, even though we billed for almost 26, we actually received 29,000. So we're over there. We also have received 180 in sewer inspections. That's $90 per inspection. One of them was not a new connection. It was them moving their tank. So it wasn't an actual connection request. So which is why we have 2 inspection fees, but only 1 connection fee for the sewer hookup side, which is $1,200. Moving down to the water side, we billed our 452 in late fees for water, and 19,482 was billed, and then our regular 5,384, and that is our SRF funding. And in total, we have billed for it looks like 25,318, but this month we only received 20,196. So we're falling a little bit behind there, but we do get an ebb and a flow. I do know that the Navy base is a couple of months behind on their payment as well. This has happened once or 2 times in the past. Since I've worked here, we had to go through an issue where we got them severely caught up. I don't know. I think they had a staff changeover. And
anything that's the federal payment at this point is going to be late. So a lot of people might misinterpret it as them being lacking, but trying to get payments through the Fed right now is not going to be easy, and it's probably going to get worse.
And I've seen them make 2 payments a month before, even if they skip one. So nothing
I think we just have to
too crazy there.
Being government, seeing how government operates has to.
Okay.
All right. For water hookups, we received 10,000 this month, so that's 2 hookup requests. And then we received 2,080, which is 1 cap fee. One of the hookups was in Cape Horn, so we don't get a cap fee from them because their LID that they participated in paid for the cap fee. So 1 cap fee and 2 hookups this month. Any questions on the income side? Okay. In total, we brought in about 65,000. Moving on down the line to our expenses. So on the sewer side, we spent 2,367 here, and that would be 2,363 of it was for pumping and tank maintenance. That was 3 residents, one on Cape Horn, one on 6th Street, and one on North Shore. And then we had one $5 locate. So all of that made up our sewer expenses. On the water side here, if you turn the commentary page over, you'll see more of the comments and how that breaks out. But for the water expense here was a total of 9,272, and 8,971 of that was spent on our system maintenance. We had some repacking at well 7 that we did, as well as programming the variable frequency drive. As you all know, that's that last step on Le Rivier's list on the phase 1 water improvement project. So we have Bigfoot who manages our SCADA system, coordinating with the Woodhawk, I believe is what they're called.
Woodhawk is the contractor for the
Yeah, so basically getting them to speak with each other and getting it integrated into our SCADA system.
Why are we paying for that? I'm not part on the loan.
So all the Woodhawk work was part of the loan, but Bigfoot, kind of like what I was saying, in which Kyle suggested we could work into the loan program. They technically are not one of the contractors that was part of the original contract that Riviera listed out. So
Picking out those items.
Yep.
See if Kyle can.
Yep. So, and then also for the Farragut intertie, some of the work that was done there so that we could switch over to using the Farragut tank, and then some paint sampling for that, for the tower on the lid. So
I'll make a comment on the intertie. It was due for what is called a rebuild, and they said, we're having to do so much to make this change out, you might as well rebuild it now and save you having to do this twice. So I had them go ahead and do it. Because usually these valves get rebuilt once every 5 years. We have multiple in here. When they come through on our contract annually, they check every one of them and repair as needed, maintain it, and then they rebuild one entirely from scratch every 5 years, and this one will do.
And that one may or may not fall under the SRF loan program, but definitely the variable frequency drive programming, as well as the paint sample for the tower lid.
Yeah.
So, and then we had about $120 in testing and $175 in turn on and turn off fees. We had one turn on as well as 3 notices this last month. So all of that made up our water maintenance expense of $9,273. Any questions for the water and sewer maintenance? Okay, moving on to more of our routine things. We have our vehicle expense, which is a little high. That was replacement of that back window on the Kubota. Around $200 for that. Yeah, $233 plus Bob and I's mileage.
Wait. Why are we
Yes.
paying for that when it was something they lost?
Yeah, that's a big sticking point for me too. But
Yeah, they say there's no way it happened, but even though it disappeared when we
You have pictures.
I have pictures before, not when I dropped it off there, but before here, I had it. And then after when I picked up, it wouldn't have the window kind of thing. But they did give it to us at our cost.
yeah,
Or their cost, excuse me, their cost.
and we do have that check that we canceled from them on some of the other work that I need to reissue at some point. That was like $2,200. But
They haven't said anything to me.
they haven't said anything to me either. But yeah, so just so you guys know, that could be something in the future here. So I think we're kind of working with them, and I figured I was gonna try one more time and renegotiate that payment down with the cost of the window.
Mhm.
And then see what I
Vehicle
can do.
expenses are gonna go up yet.
We'll see, yeah. Okay, so director fees, regular 200, dues and subscriptions was high this month at $1,500 and almost $6. And that is our annual software system that we pay for. That is at $1,500 annually. And that takes care of our billing program, our online portal, all those things. So, and then just our regular Zoom subscription. Office supplies at $271. I bought a lot of copy paper and stamps. We did have that mass mailing that we did. Gosh, what was that? Oh, when the water shut down for putting in the variable frequency drive stuff. We have that section of town. So that
We've done
was
two
that.
things. You mailed, we've also put notices out.
Yeah, that one too. And then regular routine on the system operator, our equipment or our postage and delivery. Next month will be slightly higher because we did send out those 2 other papers, but honestly, it's not that much higher for that notification system. I really do like this mailing company. It's quite convenient and quick for the district. So, and then we have $514 on office equipment. That had to do with our website hosting. That is an annual thing as well. And then, so we did pay our liability insurance as well, $6,000. Moving on down, regular janitorial costs. The $5,000 for the office maintenance was that deposit for the office skirting that was done. And then we still have $3,150 to pay them. On his quote, he did quote 8 vents on the thing, which he just noticed today. He only put 4. Part of his recommendations when I did the walkthrough with him, it was to put up some flashing on the side of this building where the snow sits. So he said in lieu, which I agreed to, he said instead of putting in 4 more vents, that he would just bring the flashing and do that. So he's going to do that. He did note on the walkthrough that some of the siding is swelling. So it was a little hard to do the belly band. He did not do the ceiling because I mentioned, they might want to paint it. And so he didn't seal it, and I said, well, that's not gonna be this year though. And he said, okay, I'm gonna come back and do the caulking on it then, because I don't want the working compromised. So then we'll do that. But he did mention that if the district ever wanted to go the route of painting the outside of the building, it might be a little bit of a waste of money because of that swelling, and he's able to just push the nails in at this point with his finger. So it would be more of a fighting type thing, but
I will have to say,
But
I'm
way down the line.
When they've been working, they seem to be working diligently. I don't see them sitting around.
oh yeah, no, I
Good, nice job.
Yeah.
While you were gone, and
Yeah.
we're out there
Yeah.
working right now.
yeah, I definitely have been pleased with this work. So, okay, moving down the line, we do have the 5,491 for engineering. That's not a project cost, that's ours, and that was for our sewer GIS mapping. So, and that is up on the website for everyone to see. Kyle and I are working still, I think right now it's currently in Bob's court on looking over that paperwork having to do with doing the GIS handheld device,
Yeah.
where we can start
A little
mapping.
distracted with some of it.
Totally. So anyway, just I think we had originally saved, I don't know if it was 10 or 12,000 for the GIS mapping, which came under. So we're going to spend the rest of that on mapping meters and septic tanks. So we'll see how far we can get this year within that budget. Everything else on down the list is our auto dialers, telephone, electric, garbage, and payroll. So total expenses for this month was almost 54,000. Any questions?
In this sewer expense, how are we splitting out things like electricity and so forth?
Yeah, so on the electricity, we class parts of it to sewer and parts of it to water. I would say we're about a third on the sewer side, but we know if it's the triplex station or things like that, we break those out and class them
Okay.
to sewer.
Okay.
And then we split the office building in half and then the treatment plant. So.
Are you good? Are you done?
I'm good, I'm done.